Good morning, my friends. Welcome to our New Testament challenge. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some thoughts from the fourth chapter of the book of 2 Corinthians, Paul's second letter to the church at Corinth, chapter 4. It's interesting. This is a fascinating passage. Talks about treasure in clay jars. I guess it would be a similar image for us would be, a beautiful diamond bracelet instead of a nice case and stuff wrapped up in bubble wrap and taped around it, coming in just very, very cheap outward covering, but the value is on the inside. So he says, basically, the world sees us as clay jars. The world sees us as cheap, as, we're not seen as powerful, seen as rich, seen as well-to-do, seen as authoritative by the world. The only way that we have value is what is on the inside. And he says, for us, what is on the inside is the power of the gospel. It is the presence and the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. And so because of that, we are worth more than we should be. And we are able to point to the treasure that we hold. He says, we're in difficult straits. We've been beaten. We're poor. People, run us out of town. And he goes on and on about the things that have happened to them that, kind of, again, lessen his value in the eyes of the world. But he says, that's okay, because our value does not lie in what we do and what we express, but our value as people of faith lies in the gospel that has been given to us, lies in the sacrifice that Christ has made, lies in the power and presence of the Holy Spirit within us. And so, even though it is foolish to the world, we are able to share the treasure of the gospel. And people, as weird and as foolish, as odd as it may seem, people are drawn to that treasure in our cheap, worthless vessels. They are drawn to the treasure that is inside. And that is what we're called to do. And that is how we do what we do. We want to do ministry in quality fashions. We want to stream, our worship service. We want to honor God with the best that we can do. However, we don't have the money that others do, and so and churches have dealt with this in the last year, particularly as more and more people go online. We watch TV and then we flip over and watch our church service, and you can't help but notice the difference in quality. It's just there. But again, it is the message that is the treasure, that is the value. It is the message that we proclaim. It is the message of God. It is God's presence in the midst of that that allows the value of that event to shine through. And so don't worry about, if you stutter, if you stumble, if you fall, if you want to sing a song to glorify God, and you're not a singer, and you feel embarrassed by that. You do the best you can. You use the gifts of God that you have, but the message is what is valuable. It is what is powerful. Allow the message of God to shine in your life. And what Paul's saying is, he says, obviously, the only way that the church is going to grow, the only way that I am going to be successful is not through my deeds, not through my actions, not through my skills. The only way it's going to work is by the power and presence of God and God's will, God's purpose, God's wisdom, God's guidance. It all points away from me to God. And that is good news. That is good for us. And so remember that as you you might think, okay, I can't teach. Maybe God is calling you to teach. And you're like, I can't teach. I don't have a teaching background. Leave that part up to God. You obey. You follow. You do what you can do. And allow God to water. Allow God to bring the growth. And people will, appreciate your efforts. But they'll know where the power really comes from. And that is who we should thank. Hope this has been helpful, my friends. Take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.